Okay, so today I'm going to go over my favorite settings for my Helix 7. Now this is the G4, but this will apply to the G3s and G2s as long as your software is up to date. And I will put a link up above to a video that shows you how to update your software at home. Or I'll put a link at the end of the video to a card that you can click on and watch that. So right now I just got off open water a few days ago. Okay, now you press exit, exit. It's going to take us to this menu here, which is the quick setup menu, because I reset it to factory settings, which is fine. We just press exit. Now hit menu twice, scroll over to the left where it says sonar, go down to the bottom where it says ice mode and hit your right arrow and hit it again to confirm. Now it's going to reboot in ice fishing mode. It's going to give us all of those features that are included if you have your software up to date, which includes a flasher setting, a couple different sonar settings, and we'll go through those in detail here. Okay, so we should be able to start up. Now I'm fishing really shallow today because I'm after some brook trout, so I'm just going to hang my transducer right there. I'm in about 3 feet of water, so that's right. I can see this is the flasher setting. Here's my battery charge. So if we go to view, we can flip through the different settings. Here's the flasher plus sonar, a zoomed in section on the bottom, so 2x zoom on the bottom, just sonar, sonar plus zoom. And you can flip through all these different settings, and then here's mapping. It's still working on finding GPS. Now, I don't use all these screens, so the first thing I guess I want to do is confirm that my sonar is actually working. So I'm going to go ahead and drop down my jig here. There it is. See, it looks good. Now, I don't like the flasher setting personally because I started with sonars, but if you're somebody who's coming from, you know, a Markham flasher or Humminbird flasher or Vexilar, then this might be easier for you. I personally prefer the just plain sonar view like this, because it kind of gives me a history of my jigging action. As you can see here on the right, this little window, the Rts window, is a vertical version of a flasher essentially. And then this is all your history. So this is what's happening now. This is history. So the screens that I use the most are going to be flasher, sonar, and mapping. I don't need to have the mapping side by side with the sonar or flasher settings. So I'm going to go menu twice, and I'm going to go over here where it says views. So I want flasher view visible. I don't need the 2D view or zoom views, especially fishing in 3 to 4 feet of water. It's just not necessary. I do want the 2D view. That's the sonar view that I'm in now. I don't want zoom. None of the zoom, none of the big digits views. Chart view I do want. Chart flasher view I don't. Chart sonar combo. Now everything else should be hidden. So if I back out hitting exit, all I have is map, flasher, sonar. Map, flasher, sonar. That's what I want. Okay. Now you can set that up however you want. Like you can customize this in any way that works best for you. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is change my sonar settings so that it's easier for me to see. So I'm going to go to menu once. Now my gain, I can turn that up to make it a little stronger return, or I can turn it down. Probably going to turn it down a little bit today since I'm fishing so shallow. Going back, the chirp IR basically is a way of reducing interference from competing transducers, and I'll do a separate video on that. So declutter, oh, there's fish. Oh, that guy just came in and smashed it. He came out of nowhere. There you go. Really pretty little brookie. One thing I will say about the Helix series is that they really benefit from screen covers. The screens on these Helixes get so dirty. Okay, as I was saying, declutter basically just takes all these lines off of the here so you don't see the depth lines. It just makes it a clean sonar, but I actually like having them on. Okay, we'll go back, continue on. Cone angle, I can run a tighter cone angle for better resolution, or a wider cone angle, or I can run both. And I'm just going to run both because I generally get the best results with the 15 to 21. Now I am running the latest updated chirp transducer from Humminbird. This is the XI9 1521. Okay, lower range is basically, it's auto setting to that. I might actually adjust that so I can push this down a little bit. The auto wants to pull up that bottom to here, but if I pull it down to there, it gives me more screen. So I've adjusted that to 3 feet. Surface clutter, I don't really have an issue, but if I turn that down, it really gets rid of it. If I turn it up, I get more surface clutter. So you see, generally, midpoint's pretty good for me because I am going to pick up fish really shallow because I'm fishing so shallow. Chart speed is a big one for me. I will run this at, so if I run it at what it's at now, which is a mid speed at like a 5 or 6, you can see the jig, and I get a pretty good real-time view of what's happening. But if I increase the chart speed up to near ultra or higher, I get a little bit more rapid information and more current information, and that's what I prefer. So that faster, it gives me more time to react if I see a fish show up on the screen. Or like that last one, they just blast in and I never even see them. Okay, RTS window, that's this window here. I can go to mono, and so you can see the jig there, which is kind of weird. I prefer the full color. And then I can adjust how wide this real-time window is. I can make it medium, large. It just makes it easier for me to detect a fish. So often we'll go with like a medium, because I want to be able to, if a fish comes in just barely, I want to be able to detect it easier. And sonar color combos is just going to be whatever you personally prefer. You know, often when it's snowy, bright, sunny days, I'm going to run the white background. When it's overcast like today, I don't want to be staring at a bright screen. There's fish. Oh, come on. Come on. See that fish on the bottom there? Is he still there? Yep, there he is. Come on. Oh, he left. Not interested. Maybe I need to put more bait on there. But like I was saying, I like the dark screens when it's overcast like it is today. Just makes it easier that my eyes aren't blown out by staring at a white screen. But if it's bright sunny day and I'm wearing my sunglasses, I'm going to go with that white. And there's lots of different options depending on if you're colorblind or whatnot, whatever's going to work best for you. Oh, there he is. That's a big one. Come on. Ooh, it's a pretty one. Almost get it. There we go. Beautiful. Look at that guy. Chunker. Alright, get that fish back on the way. Keep getting interrupted by fish. How annoying is that? It's actually not annoying. Okay, so let's go back to the colors I prefer. And that's pretty much it for all my settings here on the first sonar page. Now likewise, you can do similar settings here by just going to the first menu. And again, adjusting a lot of the same things. Chirp interference, cone angle, lower range. They'll be set from the last time. And then you can do flasher style. You can do full color like I have here. Or you can do A-scope. And you're like, well, what's A-scope? Well, let me show you. Okay, so you can see on here, the bottom is 3 feet-ish, and it's solid red, right? But you see as here, there's some vegetation that sticks up, it gets narrower. Depending on the size of the return itself, the width of the return is relative to the target size. So you can see my jig is really tiny and narrow. And the bottom is that bright wide red. So width and color intensity give you an idea of target size, which is kind of nice. But when I do this, I oftentimes find that like smaller targets, like really tiny tungsten jigs like I'm using, might not show up so well. So I'll go to menu, but you can see that there's the fish is still down here. There he is. He's coming up. There we go. Oh, I stabbed him and I didn't get him. But that was a good example of how a fish shows up. So I'm going to put that gain back down and go back to my sonar. Okay, so there's my jig and we're back on the traditional sonar. Now some other things that you can check is hit menu twice. That's going to take us to the main menu. And this is where you can switch between clear mode, which I'm in now, and max mode. Obviously max mode just blows this out in shallow water, so don't want to do that. I can increase the contrast to get more return or less. Oftentimes I'll play with contrast and gain, but usually I always end up in the middle part there. Fish ID, I always run off. That's those little fish symbols. You don't need that if you can interpret a sonar. And fish ID alarm, I never run that. And then here you can adjust your connected transducer. So depending on which ice transducer you're using, you can change that setting here. And this is obviously where you'll go back to open water if you put this on your boat. So I'll go back up to the top menu. I'm not going to worry about waypoints or tracks when I'm out here. Chart, you can just change your orientations. Nothing I usually make here, no changes. Here is the option to start doing auto charting if you wanted to do that, but I'm going to go into that. That basically allows you to build custom maps of lakes that aren't on your Lake Master chip, or if you don't have a Lake Master chip, you can just build your own custom maps. It's possible to do with ice fishing. It's a lot more work, easier to do in open water. Then here you adjust your languages. If you want to go to metric, you can. You can change your local time here, so that's something I need to do since I'm on the West Coast. I need to go to Pacific time. You can turn on or off daylight savings. And then make sure that if you're running a sealed lead acid battery, it's selected here, or lithium. I'm running lithium, so I have that selected. We've already gone through views, and that's it. So that is the basic settings I use for my Helix 7, and it'll work no matter what generation you're running, Gen 2 and on. I haven't used the original generations, which don't use the chirp transducer, so I'm not sure how that is, but there's not too many of the original first generations left. All right, guys, if you have any questions, just let me know in the comment section below. I will put a link at the end of this video right here that shows you how to update your Helix fish finders with the latest software. And yeah, just let me know if you have any questions below, and I'll put links to the units that I used today. And I'll see you next time out on the water. Just remember, fish smarter, not harder. Bye, guys.